A very good day to Doctor and all my fellow friends. My name is Sigim Tai, matrix number 270154.
Good day everyone, my name is Lau Jun Xian and my matric number is 270333.
Hi everyone, my name is Wan Ping and my matrix number is 269751.
Now I will start with the introduction of aggression. Generally, aggression is a word that we use to describe the behavior of others and ourselves every day. However, social psychologists define aggression as an action that includes behavior that intend to harm others, person who does not want to be harmed. It will involve the perception of intent, so the word of aggression has become more complicated. Some of the people may perceive as aggression may not appear to be so another. Even when the form of harm is similar, intentional harm is perceived to be worse than unintentional harm. They also use the term of violence to describe aggression that aim to be has extreme physical harm, such as injury or death that cause to another. As a result, violence is a subcategory of aggression. All of the forms of violence are aggressive, whereas violence can be referred to an act that usually will consist of the intent to cause severe bodily harm such as robbery and murder. According to social psychologists, aggression can be both verbal and physical. Therefore, aggression includes physical aggression and non-physical aggression. For the physical aggression, it is a type of aggression that involves physically harm to another. However, for the non-physical aggression, it includes verbal aggression. Next, we discuss about the type of aggression. In this section, we have identified 4 types of aggression, which are indirect aggression, direct aggression, emotional aggression, and instrumental aggression. For the first one, we focus on indirect aggression. Indirect aggression is a behavior that acting the intent to harm someone without face-to-face confrontation. According to Daniel K. Hoflevy, indirect aggression is a pattern of expressing negative feelings in a non-direct manner rather than directly addressing them. However, the Encyclopedia of Evolutionary Psychology Science defines as indirect aggression is a pattern of behavior that aims to harm others indirectly, particularly their social status and self-esteem. They will tend to destroy someone's self-esteem and destroy their confidence by disagreeing with everything they say. Indirect aggression expresses itself through behavior such as gossip behind your back and spreading rumors and on social media. Thereby, they will try to beat their opponents in these ways. Therefore, indirect aggression behavior can disrupt relationships and cause problems at work. For the second one, direct aggression defined as a person need to confront the target and cause harm through direct, verbal, and physically. It can be physical such as kicking and pushing, or verbal such as insulting or threatening someone else. Therefore, males are more probably to engage in direct aggression than females, whereas females probably to engage in indirect aggression than men. For the third one, the type of aggression is emotional aggression. Emotional aggression is a harmful behavior caused by out of control of the angry feelings. It is the result of the extreme negative emotion to those who are experiencing at the time they aggress and is not meant to create positive result. Emotional aggression is reactive and impulsive. This means that this type of aggression is driven by our feelings such as anger. Hence, emotional aggression also called as angry behavior that motivated by a desire to harm someone. The last type of aggression is instrumental aggression. Instrumental aggression differs from physical aggression in that there is no emotional motivation for the aggression but have a purpose. Instrumental aggression defined as causing harm to another person in order to achieve the goal. Unlike physical aggression, instrumental aggression does not always involve intent, and it is only motivated to achieve a specific goal.
Today, I would like to discuss about the instinct theory of aggression. Based on the interpretation of instinct theory, aggression is a biological drive like hunger and sex, hence it cannot be eliminated but has to be controlled for society well-being. In non-human species, aggression and fighting are necessary for survival and territory maintenance. As a catalyst, sport provides an outlet for aggression that is both safe and socially acceptable. This type of catalyst refers to the release of feelings and energies that were held back for a long time. An aggressive behavior conflicts with our life instinct until it is balanced, because aggression is part of our self-destructive death instinct. Nobel Prize-winning ethologist Conrad Lorenz proposed that humans are innately motivated to attack. Aggressive urges build up and are discharged gradually in the same way as hunger or sexual desire. Next, according to the frustration-aggression theory, aggression is always the consequences of frustration. The frustration-aggression hypothesis is formulated based on psychodynamic principles. People who are frustrated tend to behave aggressively towards the subject they are upset about, but that is often inappropriate. So they shift the sources of aggression elsewhere. In order to prevent anxiety, the mind diverts emotions from their original sources to a less threatening, dangerous or unacceptable sources using the concepts of catalysts and displacements. Next, I would like to talk about the aggression as learned social behavior, or known as social learning theory. According to Bandura, human aggression does not occur naturally, but is acquired through direct experience or observing of others. In direct experience or operant conditioning, aggressive behavior is reinforced and therefore more likely to be repeated. In Bandura's view, humans are active information processors and think about the consequences of their behavior. In most cases, human behavior is a result of observation rather than direct learning through modeling, in observing how others perform new behaviors. According to Bandura's social learning theory, the way of people mentally construct their experience is vital. The observer may see someone hit another person, but they will also determine whether or not they feel competent or appropriate to respond in the same manner. Hence, inferring about observed aggression increases the chance of imitating it as well as expanding the range of situations that might be applicable. The act of imitating aggressive behavior is common, especially when it comes from a person who is heroic, admired, high regarded, or attractive. The concept of vicarious reinforcement occurs when someone observes that aggressive behavior is rewarding because, for example, aggressive behavior leads to a person achieving their.
Now I will start talking about the factors of aggression. The first factor in aggression is age. Do you know that at what age people are most aggressive? You might be surprised to learn that young children 1 to 3 years old are most aggressive. Due to a lack of social skill, young children often rely on physical aggression to resolve conflict and get what they want. In free play situations, researchers have found that 25% of their interactions are aggressive. Fortunately, most young children's aggression is not serious enough to be called violence, as they do not use weapons such as guns and knives. And as children grow older, most of them learn to inhibit their aggressive impulses and resolve conflict using non-aggressive means such as compromise and negotiation. The second factor in aggression is gender. At all ages, males tend to be more physically aggressive than females. However, it would be wrong to think that women are never physically aggressive. Females do use physical aggression, especially when they are provoked by other females. Among heterosexual partners, women are slightly more likely than men to use physical aggression. However, when men do use physical aggression, they are more likely than women to cause serious injuries and even death to their partners. Moreover, females are much more likely than men to engage in relational aggression, defined as intentionally harming another person's social relationships, feeling of acceptance or inclusion within a group. The third factor in aggression is personality. The TAS model suggests that people with high trait aggressiveness respond aggressively even to very weak provocation. However, people with low trait aggressiveness require strong provocation for overt expression of aggression. Similarly, persons with type A behavior pattern are extremely high on competitive drive, and they are always hasty in their time management, leading them to highly irritable and aggressive in social interactions. On the other hand, persons with type B behavior pattern are relatively relaxed and generally respond sensibly and in sober way even when they are faced with highly stressful situations. Furthermore, the components of the dark triad of personality are also related to aggression. The last factor in aggression is biochemical influences. In a meta-analysis, testosterone has been found to be positively correlated with aggression and aggressive tendencies. Another endogenous chemical important in aggressive behaviors is serotonin, a neurotransmitter which is found responsible for positive and pleasant emotions. Serotonin level has been also found to be negatively associated with aggression. Moreover, alcohol impairs the information processing capacity of the individual required to inhibit response impulses, leading to reduced ability to anticipate negative consequences of aggressive responses, and furthermore, person fail to take note of social value and norms that restrict a person to behave aggressively.
Besides that, emotion is one of the factors of aggression. In early aggression models, the role of negative emotion was identified as a significant factor in causing aggression, but research has linked several of these emotions to aggression, most notably anger, shame, jealousy, and frustration. Among all the emotions that stated, anger is the most being spotlighted. In spite of the fact that aggression can precede anger, its pathway goes far beyond simple cause and effects. Aggression is increased by reducing inhibitions, narrowing attentional focus to signals of aggressions, and alerting people to potential threats. When people feel that their flaws have been exposed, shame can also boost their aggression. There is also evidence that envy can lead to aggression and more specifically, violence against intimate partners. Emotion can protect aggressive behavior in some situations, for instance, empathizing with another person's perspective and showing concern for them is consistently associated with reduced aggression. That are also one of the factors of aggression. Also, whether physiological or emotional lead to increased aggression, irrespective of what caused the arousal in the first place, it is the presence of arousal that increases the likelihood of a person acting on an aggressive impulse or tendency instead of thinking through the consequences of their action. Arousal levels that too high can feel unpleasant, and such experience can exacerbate aggression. Additionally, arousal can initiate a fight or flight response system that bypass rational thought and direct aggressive behavior. As a result, anger might be collectively labeled as a source of arousal which cause people to act and feel angry. It may lead to disproportionately aggressive behavior when this effect is compounded by excitatory transfer. Lastly, low arousal may facilitate aggression if people lack the energy and motivation to resist.
Now I will talk about the implication of aggression. With respect to positive and instrumental aggression, there are several potentially positive outcomes. Firstly, it serves to preserve and protect the individual. Secondly, aggression can be used to increase an individual's dominance in their social environment. With respect to negative aggression, the consequences are inevitably more negative for both the victim and the offender. Among young people and adults, the damage caused to victims of excessive negative aggressive behavior include physical injury, psychological and emotional trauma, and financial costs. Additionally, lethality is the worst consequence of aggression for victims. Then, children or offenders who are aggressive in school are likely to be rejected by their peers. Aggression can also result in financial loss of freedom, and even loss of life for the offender. After imprisonment, it can result in loss of job, divorce, and poverty, which can motivate even further aggressive criminal behavior to gain resources. Also, the violent nature of the prison environment often further reinforces aggressive behavior in the offender. Lastly, I will talk about the treatment or therapy of aggression. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on teaching those who show aggressive and violent behavior to better understand and control their aggression, explore various coping mechanisms to better channel the thought and feeling associated with violent behavior, and learn how to properly assess the consequences of aggression or violence. Next, in psychodynamic therapy approaches, people who resort to violence in order to hide deeper emotions are encouraged to become conscious of the more vulnerable feelings that may underlie their aggression. When these feelings, which may include emotions such as shame, humiliation, or fear are expressed, protective aggression may dissipate.
In the conclusion, aggression can be learned by observing aggression models and imitating them. As we know, anger is an emotion that will lead to aggression behavior. Aggressive people can become angry, and angry people can become aggressive, but the two are not the same thing. When anger is expressed in an inappropriate way, such as through verbal or physical aggression, it will become a disruptive and potentially life-threatening force. Some of the conclusions can be made on the aggressive behavior. In this assignment, there were few elements has been discussed, which are the type of aggression, theories of aggression, factors of aggression, therapy or treatment, and implication of aggression. Therefore, understanding aggression behavior is a must, and it is necessary to know about the aggression in order to manage your own emotional responses well, because it may also have an impact on in relationship and even legal consequence. That's all for our group presentation. Thank you for listening.